All right, y'all. So I am here to give you some video instruction regarding how you should have your Google Classroom set for the year 2021. So I am hoping this video does not last too long because best practice is, 3 to 5 minutes, but this might go just a little bit longer, so I apologize. First things first, let's use all the same terminology. When you're looking at your classroom in this format, this is called your dashboard. So we are in our dashboard. When you're in your dashboard, you have your three uh, bars up here. This is your menu bar. Actually, that's there all the time when you're in Google Classroom. And you could click on here and you can access each of your classes separately if you would choose to. Okay. Notice in this menu bar, you have your dashboard. You can go over to your calendar. You have when you're teaching, these are the classes that you're teaching. And I know I have a lot in there. And then you have things that you're enrolled in. So these are down here for you. And then you have your archived classes. And that's what you would get to if you wanted to or restore or access anything that's in your archived classes. So we're going to actually click on classes to get to your dashboard. So when you're in your dashboard, I'm going to go ahead and pull up Miss Long's PE class. Thank you, Miss Long, for volunteering or voluntolding. She didn't know I was doing this, and I just started using it the other day. So thank you, Chris. We appreciate your willingness to share. So, one of the things we're going to try and do with our students is try to keep them from the stream. The only reason they're going to go into the stream, or what we're trying to get them to see, is for announcements, and we're asking that teachers limit announcements. When they're in their classroom, their Google Classroom, like seventh grade or eighth grade Google Classroom, that's where Miss um, Holiday, sorry, Miss Holiday, that's where Miss Holiday will be putting all of the daily announcements, AM and PM. We want to train our students to look for the announcements there, but in your Google Classroom, we want you to limit because students sometimes forget to turn off their settings and they forget to turn off their notifications. And every time something goes in the stream, it just adds more and more and it just gets very confusing. We want to try to keep our students in the classwork tab. So we are going to be in the classwork tab. And in the classwork tab, you're going to see how we would like for you to have your classwork tab set up. We would like for everybody to have the daily attendance and the Wednesday Google Meet. Now I'm going to get into these a little bit more, and this might be what takes us a little bit longer. But we are going to all use the daily attendance. Then, when you create materials, assignments, or whatever, you're going to use a topic. And so when you use a topic, it's going to create a new bar right across. So I'm going to just jump into another classroom where I already know I have these. So I'm going to click into one of my Google Classrooms from the summer and show you how you get information that you directly want people to see. And then you have your topics where all of your information is. A lot of you like to use units or chapters or to do now and to do later, whatever you choose to use as your topics. But we want no topic for our virtual Wednesday link and and I got to get to Miss Long's class, and for our daily attendance. So again, daily attendance, we're going to use the Google form for daily attendance. We have made some updates to this. So if you go back to the original directions with the expectations, this form has been updated. I'm going to go ahead and just show you a couple of things. We have taken off the date. You do not need the date. So if you're in your form, when you made the form from that, you forced a copy. So this is automatically Chris's copy. Okay. We did not change this. It just says CMS Daily Form, but this goes directly to Chris Long. Now, she has put her blocks here. Okay. Some of you have decided to use your blocks, one form for each block. But again, when we talk about attendance, and I'm going to make a whole separate video just about attendance, but when we talk about attendance, it's okay for all of your attendance to be on one sheet because this attendance form is our backup. You are not referring to this every day. And again, there'll be a separate video that just talks about attendance. We put your last name or your first name. Okay. And then Stephanie had another question here. And we advised to take off the part that said, do you have any questions about today's assignment? So we took that off. And then Chris was afraid with 75 students and in a block that if her students did ask to reach out, one of the other questions was, do you have some other concerns? And she was afraid that out of that, a student might answer and she might not get into her response sheet. So she went ahead and just took that question off. Again, it's your choice if you want to take those off or not take those off. However, if you leave that question on, please make sure that you're at least reviewing your responses daily. We would hate for a student to reach out and use that as their only method to reach out, thinking they're going to get help, and nobody's paying attention to that response form. So Chris went ahead and took that off. If you're not sure how to do that, you would just click in the pencil. That's that when you get actually the view only site for your form, if you click in the pencil, you get back into your editing. And you can actually just click and delete if you wanted to take that question off. If Chris wanted to add another question, she can just come back in here and click add and add another question. I'm going to get rid of that and leave her form exactly as she had it. I hope that helps with that scenario. So again, you're going to have your daily attendance. It's going to be in the top 2. Every class is going to look like this. It's going to be fabulous, and it's going to help the kids out tremendously. The other link is going to be your Wednesday Google Meet, and when you click on it, it's going to take your students to a link. One of the suggestions that we're giving is that you use the same Google Meet link. This might have been different than what you've heard in the very beginning, but here are some of our reasons. If you use one Meet link, you are in that link all day long. So you're not in first block and have a student who's still trying to talk to you and you have to worry about that 5-minute change and jumping into second block. Okay. The other reason is it's also if you're going to be doing your cohorts 1A and cohort 1B and you're going to do those as separate classes, you're going to need one place for everybody to get together. And we found out with the geniusness of some people like Brooke Kitzhaber and some others that it would be very helpful if you had just one link and you stayed in that link all day. So you have 2 choices for doing that. You can either, and I'm going to jump back to my main screen, you can either use one Meet link from one of your classes. It doesn't matter which class, just one of them. Okay. And when you use that link, you would go up here, you would click create, you would create a material, you'd paste that link in. You would write Wednesday Meet link, any details you wanted to share with your students, and you would share that with all of your classes. Okay. I know I did that fast. You can hit rewind if you need to. What we're doing, so what some people did, and this is what Chris did, is Chris went ahead and just made a brand new classroom that she called Long Google Meet. She's not inviting anybody to it, but she's just using the Meet from that link so she doesn't confuse herself. So this is always the link that she's going to use for all of her classes. Now you might say, I don't want to do that, or that doesn't work for me. You do what works for you. If you just want to use, the goal is one link. So if you want to use your 4th block link as your link, that would be great. What you do need to make sure that you're doing though now is in all of your Google Classrooms, you make sure that you hide the Meet link that we made. And the way you do that, you see that this is showing an eyeball with a line through it. That's saying it's not visible for students. You click on your settings wheel. You scroll through your settings. You come down to where it says Meet and you turn off visible to students. We're turning that off now. We're turning that off so that the only way that the students are going to get into our Meet is if they actually come into this link. And I think that's going to be much more efficient for all of us. Another thing that we discussed later after Stephanie sent out the Google expectations, so you'll see that we're adding to this live document every day. We discussed putting the time for your classes. Since attendance is mandatory, we want your students to know what time they're expected to log in. Now, again, remember on their off days, and this is going to be spoken about in attendance again, but on their off days, I'm not so concerned if they go in on 9:30, 9:35, or even 11:30 for your class, as long as they're completing your work. But on Wednesdays, that virtual class, every student has to be in your block during that class. And so it's very helpful to put your Wednesday virtual time, but I would suggest you put the time of each class. So get your hybrid schedule. I'm pretty sure that it's on the Google site. If it's not, get with an administrator. They'll get it for you, or a team leader, and go ahead and put those times in there so that that's seen for the students. How do you do that? Again, you click on settings. Up here, I put it under the section. So you actually had the class name and the section, and that's how it showed up. There are many different ways you could have put it in the class description. It would look differently. So you just play around with this class details. Okay. One other thing while you're in there, you want to make sure that you have a couple of things taken care of. You want to make sure that in your stream, you have that only students can comment, or students can only comment. You don't want your students posting. You also want to look, and you want to make sure that you have your Guardian summaries turned on. So these are the settings that you're going to want to see. Students can only comment, and Guardian summaries I can't say that word today. Guardian summaries turned on. Make sure that your Meet link that you've made for all your classes, although that was our original idea, that we turn those off for our students, and we use just that one link that we share in our Google Classroom tab. So again, Google Classroom tab, daily attendance, Wednesday Google Meet. I will tell you that normally you're supposed to be able to move them and shift those up and down, but Google's not letting you switch these things around today. So I don't know if it's a glitch on Google's part or if it's something that they're changing. But if you want the D to come before the W, you have to enter the Wednesday Google Meet first and then the daily attendance second. It really does not matter as far as we're concerned, but I know that a lot of my teacher buddies are A-type and want the alphabetical going first. So you do what you need to do for you. One other thing I want to show you just to make sure that you know about this. In this area up here, where this is our menu. Sorry, let me go back to that. That's our menu. If you click here, it shows to review. This tells you all the work you have to do as a teacher. This gives you a review, but that also does it for the students. So check it out on a students and see what's showing for the students, but check it out for you. This shows you all the work that you have to check for all of your classrooms, or you could specifically go to each class. Isn't that cool? So I know I went fast with this. You guys can pause, you can rewind, you can do what you need to do, but I hope that helped.